My name is Rita Keller, and I am an Iyengar yoga teacher. So I think what I learned with the Iyengar system, in the Iyengar system and through because Iyengar Guruji and Gita ji, was always, first of all, the self-responsibility that you cannot give your problem to the teacher and say, solve it for me. But everything what we have inside can be solved through yoga, but we have to do it ourselves. So what is needed in this system more than in any other system is the self-awareness, the mindfulness, and the deep contact with ourself. If you miss on that point, you miss out on that point, it is nothing. It is same like all other methods. It's doing, moving, but here you make contact with yourself. Even if something says no to you that moment, you go and you also accept it like this. And then you integrate, you learn to integrate it, because there is the mind is wide open for this. You are mindful, you are completely aware. And I think this is also why Iyengar was invited to the first Zen Congress, the first worldwide convention conference on Zen. He was invited as a yoga teacher. It is so many years back. And the question asked by him was, why me? And they said, your method is the Zen method of all yoga practices, meaning it is mindful and it is complete awareness is asked here. Well, the Advanced Fridays is based on a concept. And this is something what I also learned in Pune. When you study in Pune, and not only in special classes like for teachers and so on, but you see there is a whole annual concept. And so the Friday, the Advanced Fridays, especially since they are meant for teachers, they are based on an annual subject. And then this annual subject, or sometimes 2 or 3, so they get the aspect of each and every month, meaning I build it up from January until December. So, and I accumulate more knowledge with this aspect, and I teach the connections between several things. So, like, let's say, last year, it was 2009, it was the Teachers' Convention. Gita ji had been teaching in Cologne, and the whole year followed the system, and I followed all her teaching. I built it up the way she had built it up, according to my possibilities and capabilities, and then this year it is Panchgani, for example. It is 75th birthday of Guruji. Guruji teaches a group of teachers worldwide, and he is giving the concept of Samkhya. And underlying is Samkhya the whole time. These are the 5 elements, of course, you find them. And then I build it up according the way he has built it up, of course. I study all days again and again, and I see first day, second day, and so on, until finally, hopefully, we will reach December and we have the last day. At any rate, this is how to share knowledge. I cannot pick it out. I cannot say, today we do a little bit of this, tomorrow, next week we do a little bit of this, and then you have to, the observer, the student, has to find a way to digest it, and if he's a teacher, how can he now give it to his students, teach it? But my teaching follows the system, an annual subject, and then I break it down to monthly pieces. And this monthly piece, sometimes during the week classes, this piece again has 4 pieces, week by week of a month. And so this is a systematic and methodical way of learning. And this is better than any picking. This is why the advanced Fridays came into the picture. Yeah. And for me, I discovered it not only because I reflect on how the teaching of Bhikkhu Iyengar and of Gitaji was. Teaching a convention from A to B, A to Z. Yes, I like that question actually. What do I offer to my women's classes? Yes. So, having been a student of Gitaji also, and of course there was the women's intensive. Before that we always had women's classes like on Saturdays and on Wednesdays with her, and then in the women's intensive it got laid out so from the young woman 16 age and then into the old age, and so this was so comprehensive, so profound. So teaching how asanas, pranayamas have to be adopted, and that there is no limit in our life. We cannot say I'm too old, but there is no age to yoga. Yoga continues. And so for women it is very important because we have, you know, Guruji often explained it like this. So the female intelligence is horizontal and the male intelligence is vertical. And when we understand this, we understand that when he compares a woman with a banyan tree with many roots in the air, and he says a woman, she can hold many balls in her hand. A man's intelligence is vertical. He would get upset with this and his mind would be disturbed. But meaning then also the needs of a woman are different. Here, the woman has to learn how to balance and to strengthen her mental capacity, her nervous system, and she knows she is dealing with many things. Sometimes she is exhausted, not because of physical work, but of mental and emotional work. So, and this is the reason why the aspect of learning is different. When we deal with women, we have to understand that we have to strengthen this. And the question also in the book Menopause, so we put that question to the Guru, and he is explaining it in his interview with us. And also explaining that the question, 90% of all practitioners are women, he answers, yes, they have again, they have more intelligence. They understand yoga is good for them to balance the nervous system, to strengthen the nervous system, and to give them like an extra vertebra, an extra spine to their body. And this is what we always experience. Women come, and this is why practice is a little different from men. It is more strengthening the hormonal system, balancing the hormonal system, since we have also here, we have a different hormonal system, and then strengthening the nervous system and the emotional system. So you think of teachers training, so you ask about the different modules.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is, of course, when we have basic studies, the modules will deal with basic knowledge. Ongoing studies means you build up knowledge on basic studies, on the basic knowledge. That means, for example, our method is based on Samkhya. We are based on 5 elements. So this has to be learned then first. You have to study the depth, the meaning, and also the properties of the 5 elements. Well, we have to accept you ask about the elements. And because this is basic in our teaching, yes. But then it is more important to understand that I'm made out of 5 elements. You are made out of 5 elements. I live on 5 elements. I eat 5 elements. I think 5 elements. I feel 5 elements. And in my life, I'm underlying the principle of 5 elements. The young body, middle-aged body, old body. So everything is underlying these principles. So we are part of the nature. Nature is made of 5 elements. So when we start with the yoga of course can only follow us in our nature. And this is the natural way. There is nothing else the yoga can touch, like also Ayurvedic medicine. There's nothing else Ayurveda can touch. The 5 elements. And so we have to understand this is really the main subject here. And you can have concepts of your mind, whatever you want. Still, in the back of your mind, you have to see, Samkhya philosophy. And you have, of course, aspects of the 5 elements. You have qualities of the 5 elements. So everything. So we have to understand the 25 tattvas also. And this is Samkhya, and this is the nature. And nature is us. Nature is you. Nature is around me.